Next up, using the Revolve tool. Underneath Construct, our third option is something called Revolve. We're going to look at this a few different ways. We're going to start off with a very basic level, and then we're going to move our way up into a much more difficult level. To start, very simple. We're just going to put a circle on here. This gives us a 2D object that we can then, in turn, make a 3D object. If I'm going to revolve something, I'm going to be moving in a circular type fashion around a certain line or certain axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an axis on here. I click Polyline, and I just simply draw a line. Lock that in, and here we go. I got a one-dimensional object and a two-dimensional object. Up to Construct, we click on Revolve. It asks for two things, a profile and an axis. We happen to have both. I'm going to click on the circle as my profile, and then I'm going to click on axis and select my line. And this big wheel pops up. I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it around. And as we do this, we can see our 2D object come to life in 3D fashion. As we know, a circle is 360 degrees. So as I go all the way around, this number continues to climb. One thing that's a little tricky is when you go slightly too far, it resets. So what I like to do is go in here and just simply type 360. If you want a different number, you can feel free to put that in. And that's a very basic form of Revolve. Let's go one step further. This time I'm going to select Polyline, look directly down at it, and I'm just going to draw a random shape. The one key thing I need to remember is I want to make my object complete by starting and finishing in the same point. Once I do this, our object turns light blue. That means it's 3D. If you notice, we just have our profile now. We don't have that line that we had earlier when we were doing the circle, but we can still do this. Underneath Construct, we're going to go over to the Revolve tool. It asks for the same two things, profile and axis. Profile doesn't change, that's our shape. Axis is now, we need to select a line that we want to revolve this around. So what I'm going to do is try to identify a line that if I were to extend it, it's not going to intersect with any part of the shape. For instance, if I extend this line, I believe I'm safe and I should be able to swing it around. This line, not so much. If I extend this one, I'm going to run to this place over here. So let's select this one here. Now I'm going to swing this around. It gives us our 3D shape. A lot of times it looks like a flying saucer or a doorknob, and that's just one example of it. To save some time, I made another sketch already prior to starting the video, and this is a very weird shape here. I shouldn't be doing this simply 1 month after the Bruins lost this, but here we go. Let's revolve this more difficult shape. Again, profile is our shape. Axis, I'm going to select this line. And so now when I swing this around, what it's going to give me is a very average attempt at a Stanley Cup. And that is the Revolve tool.